First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and highest honors to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shai. Yahweh being the name of the Heavenly Father in Paleo-Ancient Hebrew, and Yahweh Shai being the name of the one you ignorantly call Jesus Christ in Paleo-Ancient Hebrew. Double honors to the apostle elders of Great Millstone that rule well, and salutations to you brothers that preach, teach, and prophesy His word in truth and sincerity as we put our lives on the line in these last days to bring you this raw and this uncut truth. This is the brother Ariaga from the Grand Rapids, Michigan camp here with another nifty lesson. All right, so I had to do this first because this happened prior to the election finals. So everybody was basically captivated, with the situation happening over here concerning the election. All right, of course, Trump got it. I'll do my video after this on the response of everybody because we got to do a compilation of all the individuals and how they feel, how they reacted, especially so-called black women against the so-called black man. All right, but regardless of the measure, this is what's taking place over in Ukraine. All right, if you wasn't hip to what was going on, all right, it says approximately 8,000 Korean troops. I heard 10,000 as well. Now at Ukraine's border, combat expected soon. Okay, so this is something that happened before the election, and then recently they just had contact with them. All right, so let's get to it.
North Korean governments have estimated that some 10,000 North Korean troops are in Russia. So today's stats suggest that most of them have now been sent to Russia's border with Ukraine. North Korea's potential involvement in Russia's invasion of Ukraine is deepening concern that the war there could expand. NBC's Courtney Cuvey joins me now. Secretary Austin says this is a dangerous and destabilizing development, and now the U.S. is reaching out to China, right? What are you hearing about that effort?
Yeah, that's right. So keep in mind here, one nation that has ties with both of these countries, Russia and North Korea, is China. The hope is that the U.S. can impress upon them that this is a potentially, as Secretary Austin said, destabilizing development and hopefully play on the fact that China may not be that happy about either of these nations getting closer militarily or economically or really politically in any way. But the reality is here, look, we hear the words destabilizing all the time. And I think what viewers need to know is exactly why the U.S. and other allies see it that way.
North Korean governments have estimated.
Look, the fucking Chinese don't give a damn. Hey, anybody that's an enemy of my enemy is an ally. That's the mind state of the BRICS nations, man. Either you with NATO, EU Union, or you with the BRICS nation, okay? Plain and simple.
So the fate of Korean
Ukraine has confirmed for the first time a military encounter with North Korean soldiers in the Kursk region of Russia. The head of the Center for Countering Disinformation under Ukraine's National Security and Defense Council, Andriy Kovalenko, said Monday that the first North Korean troops had already come under fire in Kursk. Though no additional information was given, this marks Kyiv's first direct engagement with North Korean soldiers supporting Moscow. According to Kyiv's...
Alright, so let's pick that up right now. Alright, the sound is a tad bit different, but, Satan. Check it out.
Appointment to the conflict zone would represent a very dangerous escalation of the war in Ukraine. He added that everything must be done to avoid any internationalization of the conflict. The South Korean government delegation returned home on Monday after discussing cooperation measures with Ukraine regarding the North's troop deployment to Russia. Last week, Defense Minister Kim Yong-han had said that the delegation would return to South Korea around November the 4th. After a debriefing, the government plans to discuss measures for cooperation with Ukraine and the international community. Ukraine has confirmed for the first...
All right, so as you see, this is what happened on election day. Once again, the people were distracted on seeing what was going on for real around the world. All right. And they woke up to this. A lot of people still don't know that this is even happening because they're too busy bitching and complaining about Trump winning and Kamala losing. And it's inner turmoil, you see. And that's what they utilize to keep you distracted from what's really going on. These internal politics are keeping you from understanding the external politics of this third world war and the things that are happening right underneath the masses' nose, man. Okay? All right, check this out. So the first North Korean soldier that surrendered to the Ukrainian forces in Kursk. It's getting hot. And here goes one more.
A Chinese mercenary fighting for the Russian military has claimed that 8 North Koreans in Ukraine, officers, were killed in action during their first day of deployment, according to the Kyiv Post. The mercenary, who goes by the name Dian Yuzhan on social media, made the claim during a live broadcast with another Chinese mercenary who was reportedly returned to China after fighting for Russia in Ukraine. The video was shared by ex-user YU Tuzel. Kyiv Post has been able to partially establish Dian Yuzhan's identity, but cannot verify the claims made in the video. Dian Yuzhan claimed in the video that he submitted a list of those killed in action, which comprised 100...
All right, so allegedly, like it says, 8 North Korean officers were killed in action during the first day of deployment in Ukraine. All right, so we getting the casualties from a different nation. Now, mind you, the part that the Western media won't tell you is the fact that the UN already been having soldiers on over there. Okay, I did a lesson on that a while back, and they try to make it seem like, oh, these guys are so evil. They just adding to their forces from one of their allies and shit. Like, look, America has already actively been in this war and over in the Middle East between the Palestinians and Israelis, man. America's already there. They already have troops and boots on the ground in Ukraine and over in the Middle East and Palestine. So, while they don't even pointing this out and doing all of that, it's BS, because, you know, this is their proxy war, right? And they always try to make it look like, oh, we got to run to the UN. See, look, we got to use nukes and we got to do this and that. And we got to turn this into a world war. We need help from other nations because, look, they got Ukraine over there. The U.S. already has, or Ukraine already has a certain amount of U.S. soldiers and EU troops already active on the fighting field. Period. That has been exposed. And I want to add this in for good measure.
So while the fate of our country was being decided last night, evidently, over there in Ukraine, North Korean soldiers got hooked on porn after finally getting access to the internet while they're helping Russia fight Ukraine. GG's to Ukraine, by the way, now that Trump's president. Really did not cross my mind that, you know, with how restrictive North Korea is, these dudes don't know about the hub. I want to know who was the first one to show them this. Who was the first one to introduce this to them, right? Who was the one that went, yes, comrade, yes, I have to show you something. Who typed in Violet Myers and was just like, bam, you're welcome. And here's the kicker, man, you might find yourself facing some desertions, because I don't think I could go back after having never seen that before. Then I discover it, I ain't going back. Matter of fact, I never went back. So while the fate of our country was being...
Yeah, so, you know, hey, now we understand and we know the ones that the history on porn was really pushed out there by, you know, by the small hats. Okay. That was an agenda that really became lewd and built up. And it was, as you can see, it's lucrative. That was something that the small hats or you know, the you-know-who's, okay, they use this as a psyop. This was a big piece of their money that they received, you know, the porn industry. And it's also a device that they use to, you know, keep people distracted, man. Okay. And caught up into, you know, a sexual mind state, over-sexualized mind state, because all this is a weapon. And I believe this is, you know, because it was reported by allegedly a general or what have you, somebody in a high position in the U.S. military, whatever. That's their intel. Listen to me, man. I don't know if it's real or not, or if it's just propaganda used by the U.S. to make them look weak and once again to make you look at them, like they're just, inadequate. But nonetheless, hey, whether it's real or not, I thought that shit was funny. Cause I'm like, damn, they got a hold of X videos in the hood, boy. Hey, if that was true, it's a wrap, man. They've been compromised. All right, this is Jeremiah 50, starting at 41. Behold, a people shall come from the north, a great nation, and many kings shall raise up from the coasts of the earth. And as you see these great kings, these leaders of these different nations, rising up from each coast of the earth one by one, getting involved in these two separate conflicts between the power of the Middle East and Ukraine and Russia. It says, and they shall hold the bow and the lance. They are cruel and will not show mercy. Their voice shall roar like the sea, and they shall ride upon horses. Every one put in array like a man to the battle against thee, O daughter of Babylon. Right? So they got the daughter of Babylon is America. Okay, it's not ancient Babylon. And they are put in array against, this kingdom that has just been with its divisive nature has been against all these other nations, even the ones that they call allies, because they've been screwing them over and basically taxing their land and stealing their resources. So eventually, all these nations are going to have a problem. But right now, as we see it developing further and further, I'm in these two areas, different nations are getting involved now, actively. The king of Babylon hath heard the report of them. All right, who's the king of Babylon right now? All right, whether you want to call it Trump or you want to say it's the elites, they all part of the same team. It says, and his hand waxed feeble, right? Because this economy is already fucked up. Okay, it's in a bad way right now. It's failing as we look at it, and we're about to go into war. And the only way to stabilize it is if they change the currency and erase the debt and bring in a new form of money. They have to get away from, that greenback dollar, let it die, which they intentionally killed it. It was built to go down eventually and move into this digital currency, okay? The kings of Babylon have heard the report of them. It says, and his hands have waxed feeble. Anguish took hold of him, and pangs as of a woman in travail. Behold, he shall come up like a lion from the swelling of Jordan unto the habitation of the strong. But I will make them suddenly run away from her. And who is a chosen man, that I may appoint over her? For who is like me, and who will appoint me the time? And who is that shepherd that will send before me? Right. So, hey, when it comes down to it, like it said right there, and he shall come up like a lion from the swelling of Jordan unto the habitation of the strong. All right, but I will make them suddenly run from her. Because when the Lord is going to come back in the midst of this World War III, okay, in the midst of all this chaos, the Lord is going to return with a multitude of flaming chariots, as the scripture has said, okay? And hey, like I said, they're going to make them suddenly run away, all right? And then what does it say in, and what was that in 2nd Ezra? He said they were afraid, but yet they durst fight, because he's going to put it on their spirit, that even though they know that they fight an insurmountable enemy, it's not going to be like Independence Day where we valiantly overcame, this force, this galactic force. It's not happening, okay? This is going to be the battle of the ages, a war unlike any other, okay? It says, and who is a chosen man that I may appoint over her? Right. Most High is not going to put one of you nations, all right, I'm going to put you over this. Now, you know what? Russia, you guys have been putting in some work. Let me go in and put you. No, man. You're not going to appoint none of these nations. For who is like me? Right. Only one that's like the Lord or any similar to Yahweh is his son and Israel, man. These so-called Negroes, Latinos, and natives. And who will appoint me the time? And who is that shepherd that will stand before me? Therefore, hear ye the counsel of Yahweh, that he hath taken up against Babylon and his purpose, and he hath proposed against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. And who is that he? Let's look at that real quick. Wait, hold on. Let's get this last piece because it's talking about Israel, okay? Because this war with Israel is really drawing out the habitations of all these nations, man. And the reason why they had the whole Ukrainian situation right now is to keep Russia occupied so they don't directly intervene with what's going on in the Middle East and come to Iran's aid just yet. You know, they're keeping them preoccupied with their own situation at their borders. Jeremiah 50:46, at the noise of the taking of Babylon, the earth is moved and the cry is heard among the nations. Right, because those thermonuclear missiles start getting launched and hitting Babylon, this place is going to turn into a lake of fire. I don't care how deep your bunker is and what have you, but hey, if you got one that's deep in the earth and you're in Babylon, America, when them thermonuclear missiles start hitting, it's gonna cause lava. All these, look at Mount Yosemite Park out there in California and Yellowstone. Okay, with these geysers and these active volcanoes. You know, these volcanoes that are just this close from becoming active. You know, all it takes is a good couple hits from some nukes, and it'll make this place active as hell. Okay, all of those, different subterranean volcanoes come up, and look, this place is gonna be met with fire from above and below. So it don't matter where you have your bunkers at, because you're not gonna be saved in America, because this place is going to, face a burning judgment. Like this, Iran response won't lead to full-blown war, says ex-CIA director Beatrice Iran International, because what happened, they retaliated for the strikes on Iran and Iranian forces, okay, as of recent, let me mind you, all of the stuff that they've done, the Israelis had done before that, they have assassinated leaders. They've done things that are against the Geneva Convention. You went and you assassinated all of their head generals and commanders and even their president. I forgot his name. All that shit with his helicopter crash and the fucking sandstorm. We all know that the U.S. and the EU had something to do with that. All right, that wasn't just they had to get these individuals in strong positions away because they know how powerful they are and the influence they have over their country. So they've been assassinating him, and that was just another way that they used to assassinate him. Okay. It says rocket hits central Israel. Pentagon deploys reinforcements. Rocket hits central Israel. 11 injured. Pentagon deploys additional reinforcements. Lebanon, Syria border crossing temporarily closed. All right, so this is happening on the 2nd. This is right before these elections went down. So this is the least of them, drawing up the nations, right? It says the United States is preparing to send additional combat aircraft to the Middle East in response to the threats from Iran and its proxies in Gaza, Lebanon, and Yemen to attack Israel in the coming days to avenge the death of Ismail Haniyeh this week, American officials said on Friday. Right, but when the Iranians jumped up and was ready to retaliate, you've been killing their leaders this whole year. Airstrikes and all openly. It says one U.S. military official speaking on the condition of anonymity to discuss operational matters, said the American forces in the Middle East were taking necessary measures to increase combat readiness to protect U.S. troops, allies against any threat from Iran or Iran-backed militia groups. Why is the U.S. there? I have videos of U.S. soldiers being there, and that's Kamala lied on TV. They said, and she tried to say that we have no troops anywhere active, and for the first time in history. And then they said, well, then they turn around and you see all of these U.S. troops over there in Palestine. Like, well, where the hell are we at? So it's how many plans to send, or how many planes to send is still being worked out. As our final approvals from senior officials, including Defense Secretary Lloyd J. Austin III, official said, right? It says, U.S. poised to send more combat aircraft to Middle East, officials say. How many planes to send is still being worked out, as are final approvals from the senior officials, including Defense Secretary Lloyd J. Austin III. All right, so this thing is getting hot. This Cold War is getting hot. So this is what has been happening while everybody was kindly distracted by these elections, all right? It says, Joel 3:9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let the men of war draw near. Let them come up. And they're coming up right now. Okay, it says, beat your plowshares and the swords, and your pruning hooks and the spears, and let the weak say, I am strong. At one point in time, North Korea would have never been in a position to send 10,000 troops, but now that they have their own nuclear arms, they have made themselves strong, so that we can say that they are strong. Can't nobody just run up on North Korea no more, because now that they have nuclear capabilities, they are in a position where it forces these other countries, including China, to respect them. Because if they don't, they can start an all-out nuclear war. It says, so all these weak nations are getting nukes, man. Even Israel got a nukes. It says, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause the mighty ones to come down on Yahweh. Right, because these nations are getting active. And the Heavenly Father, in the midst of it, remember, he's going to send his mighty ones, he's going to send his angels down, man. He's going to send those missiles down, and that'll be the grand finale for this place. Let the heathen be awakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, or Yahweh Shaphat, which means the Most High's judgment. So they're coming into the valley. They're slowly but surely moving this battle over to the Middle East, man. I'm talking about so far as all these different nations getting involved. For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. It says, put in the sickle. And, what's the symbol of the old Soviet Union? It was the hammer and the sickle, right? On the flag is a red flag with a hammer and a sickle. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get ye down, for the press is full. The fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. The wickedness of this nation and all these other nations that's been in cahoots is great, man. It says multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of Yahweh is near in the valley of decision. Right, and that day is right here upon us, man. It says, the sun and the moon shall be darkened, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. Right, because when all that fire and that nuclear brimstone and destruction, look, you're not going to be able to just be able to look up in the sky from this place. It's going to look like, how it was September 11th, man. A whole nation, being destroyed like that. It's going, so far as seeing the sun over here, that's going to be a wrap, okay, for a long time, because of the thermonuclear destruction. Matthew 10:34. Think not that I have come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword. Okay? That is the mind state of the Lord. He's not here to hand out roses and to come back and, hey guys, stop fighting. Everybody just separate and go to your corners. Where's the love? No, it says a time for peace. And there's a time for love and a time for hate, a time for peace, and a time for war. If I'm not mistaken, that's Ecclesiastes, either the 3rd or the 5th chapter. It goes in to let you know that we are in a time of war. It says, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Right, the end is not yet, but it's coming to pass. And then, the more in depth this gets, the faster it will move. Okay. It says, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places, which we're seeing the rise in all of these things, from famines, different pestilences and diseases, to these earthquakes happening every day, even in America, California, and these different places where I'm from. You know, in California, man, yeah, them earthquakes ain't no joke, and they've been shooting off lately, like really heavy. You know what I'm saying? But this is prophecy 3.0. It says, all these are the beginning of sorrows, right? We're in a time of great sorrow. It says, but when ye shall hear of wars and the commotion, this is Luke 21:9. But when ye shall hear of wars and commotions, be not terrified, but these things must first come pass, but the end is not by and by. Nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom, right? And they basically just recapping what it said in Matthew 24. Revelation 6:4. And there went another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword. And the leader of that red horse, the red child, the Rothschilds, red shield, red horse, are these Edomite nations are the head of these wars, man. Okay. And it's really revolving around their rulership, so that the Heavenly Father gave him, the power to basically take peace off the earth, okay? And that's what these Edomites have been doing since they've been in rulership. This is when you had your first world war and the Edomite rule, you understand? Edomite nations, Germany going against the UK, and then the US getting involved, you know what I'm saying? So the red horse is active right now. And this is the reality of the situation. So stay circumspect. Keep your eyes open and pay attention to what's going down. And stop just getting caught up on the politics of this country, and stay tuned into the world politics and what's happening, because this cold war is getting hot. And with that, I pray you will edify. Till the next time, I bid you shalom.